All right, so welcome back to another episode, second episode of the Locally Famous Podcast. This is our first guest appearance. First guest this time. It's going to be a good friend of mine, fellow Outcast teammate, fellow Drift Indy driver, dude who started driving right around the same time me and Deidre did. Pretty gnarly dude, dope car, everything. And it is Cody Cheatwood. And we have again Deidre here, co-starring with us. So, Cody, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I don't really know what there is to say. You know, it's real hard talking about yourself. What
got you? What was big thing? We're talking about cars.
Yeah.
When did you get into cars? What got you? What was that? That's the first basic question.
Dude, I feel like everybody has like a childhood car story. Like everybody at least that I know is into cars. Like it all stems back from their childhood, right? So it's like mine is. I remember, I don't know, when I was younger, I'd always play video games with my dad. Didn't matter which video game, but if there was a car in it, I was always driving. It was usually like Halo or something. So I was always driving. He was always
driving
shooting.
the Warthog.
Right. And he would get so mad at me because, you know, he just wanted to complete missions and go through and just go to the next one. But I was just like, okay, let me jump this off of this jump, or let me see how fast I can get, or let me see if I can slide it. So I've always kind of had like that interest in, you know, how cars work and everything. And then, you know, as you get older, you get some money. You're like, hey, I kind of want to do this.
Get that first car, and all of a sudden you're like,
right.
What was your first car?
My first car was a 91 Cadillac sedan. Dude, it was gangster.
Got that big body boy.
Yeah, dude, it was mint, man. It floated down the road. Didn't have a working radio, though, so I had to take one of those, like, big, huge, giant, portable Bluetooth speakers and stuck that in the back seat. And
just jamming out with the Bluetooth speaker?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yes, I love that.
Yep.
Was that like a hand-me-down car, or did you pick this car out?
No,
and buy
it was a hand-me-down. It was a family friend. Dude, it was mint. I mean, like I said, it was a 91. It only had like 60,000 miles on it. It was immaculate.
That cherry old person ride.
Dude, it was. It came with a Johnny Cash cassette player, or cassette tape.
Straight up like mine. I had a 1989 Ford Ranger. It was used by my uncle's dad and gave it to me, and we got the car. It had like 36 Conway Twitty cassettes. Just everywhere I looked, it was like the same. Like these two kept losing them, just tucked in weird spots like throughout the entire time.
That's sick.
You had a Cobalt.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
No.
She won't talk about it. She had it was Placidip?
Yeah, for like a week.
On some like XXRs?
For like a week.
Dude, that's so much cooler than mine. I don't care what you say about it. That's so much cooler.
No, see, but the gangster thing is she got this car. It was her parents got her their first car. It got flooded. She had these mods on it, flipped it, made a ton of money, and then bought your current car.
Yeah, I did. I kind of.
So you can't be too mad about that car. It was ugly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't like talking about it. It's embarrassing.
Well, okay, so if it makes you feel any better, my car had a nickname throughout high school, and unfortunately, and I'm gonna put this out on the internet, which is bad, but
exclusive.
Yeah, so having Cody Cheatwood as a name, very quickly once you got to high school, Chody Beatwood became my nickname.
No.
So Chody Beatwood came to high school every single day, rolling around in what became the Chodalac. That's what they said every single day.
The Chodalac.
That's rough.
Yeah, so
that is rough.
I don't care about the plasti dip or wheels you had on your Cobalt. It didn't have anything on the Chodalac that I was cruising in.
Makes you feel better.
I think you have me beat. I honestly think you have me beat.
Oh, that is gold. And then, so we had the Cadillac, and then going to the Cadillac, it would be your next car that was what got you into modding cars, right?
No, there was a brief in between. I had a Ford Focus in between.
Was it a sedan, hatchback?
Hatchback.
Okay, so it was dope.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't an ST or anything like that. I mean, it was just a base model Focus, and that just kind of prolonged my, getting into cars. But I had that, and then eventually I had sold that, and then I bought, which would be like the first car that ever got me into modifying cars, which was my E92 335.
Yep. You still have?
Yeah, I still have it.
You talk about selling it all the time.
I know. I can't get rid of it. It's like one of those things. I remember I didn't even start modifying cars until I got into college. And it was I think it was more of just having kind of like parents that were not necessarily against it, but they just didn't understand it. So it was like anytime I talk about, modding a car, all they hear is, devaluing or ruining or breaking.
Wasting all your money.
Right. So once I finally got, I went away to college, and of course I met some car friends there and great friends now, some of my best friends. I remember the first car mod I ever did was we took it to my buddy's garage, and he was doing, I think he was putting a muffler on his car or something. And
yes.
I sat around and I like paced in the driveway for like an hour thinking like, oh man, do I really want to do this? And finally I was like, out of hell with it. And we just hacked the muffler
hacksaw,
off.
baby.
Yep. Just hacked the muffler right off my car. And then,
I have hacked more mufflers off cars than I ever care. I did. Your BMW is still like that.
It
right
is
now.
scary though at first. Like that's like if that's like your first mod, like that's a lot of commitment to just be like, all right, this could sound like a rusty trumpet or it could sound really cool.
Right. I was so scared to drive back home and figure out what my parents would say. So the worst part about that was, of course, we're in my buddy's garage, and being in college, nobody had any tools for anything. Like, we had a Sawzall with some blades. That's about it. So I ended up driving that car around for probably a good part of almost a year with just nothing. Just hack the
dumping
muffler
underneath
off.
the
Yeah,
back
just
end.
dumping right underneath. We didn't have a welder. We couldn't put pipes on it if we wanted to. I think we tried to go to AutoZone and get some clamps or something like that to try to put some,
The highway was hell.
Yeah, it
Just
was
sitting there.
bad. It was bad. It was droned so bad, and the whole car smelled like fuel. But it's all right, man.
And
It's
that was
part
on
of
the
experience.
Focus?
No, this was the BMW.
So that was the start of the BMW kickoff, and then that thing developed into a whole.
Yeah. That's sort of when I started, obviously learning a lot more about cars, and kind of developing a passion for them. Started out, I actually had a sponsorship. Through Arm Motorsports. They make a bunch of aftermarket stuff for European cars. And at the time, the only reason I say sponsorship, it was like one of those driver programs where it's like you apply and you get 10% off or whatever.
Some discount hookups.
Right. Wasn't anything crazy, but
In college, 10%,
dude,
bro.
yes,
That is big.
That was
dog.
like part of my pitch when I sent them the email. I was like, yo, I'm in college, I'm broke, but I support you. And
Bro, I was going to junkyards stealing air vents out of Jettas, like loading as many as I could in a toolbox and trying to flip them on the internet to make money. So 10% off, bro.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So that car ended up going from, just a hacked exhaust. I did eventually replace that. But, then it just went to full bolt-ons. So you're talking downpipes, intercoolers, charge pipes are a big thing on those cars because they like to blow up.
Stock turbos?
I did end up changing those. I went to the biggest the biggest twins I could find on eBay, unfortunately.
Hey, eBay turbo, hey, they shred.
They're still on the car now, and they still hold boost.
They probably don't have as much wastegate rattles original.
No, but they do smoke quite a bit, and the tune is horrible. For those of you that are BMW guys, there was a company out there that made tunes that were plug and play for the longest time, and soon found out they were the worst things ever.
Is it a burger tune? Yeah, it's a burger tune, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Bro, the stories, all the homies, like everybody back in the day had a burger tune. It's like, oh, bro, easy. So many blown up. Especially E90, E92, so many blown up.
Well, and at the time I was like, that's what everybody had. There wasn't, what is it? Wedge now I think has really good tuning as far as plug and play goes. But at the time that was what it was. And, looking at it and, knowing what I know now, it was like that tune literally all it did was just turn the boost up. It had no fueling control, no nothing. So I even to this day, that car's kind of on the back burner. So I still haven't switched it off. I don't run the tune anymore. It's just a stock tune, which is probably not good for it either. But
You don't even drive that thing anymore.
no, I don't.
It's just like sitting.
Yeah,
You got the best unit though.
yeah, I know. I got that GX.
GX 470 twins, baby. That's
Yes,
a unit
sir.
right
Yes,
there,
sir.
baby. That's it. I was so hyped when you snapped. You're like, I was like, bro, yes.
I know you had one, and I was like, I gotta get one.
Same color and everything.
I know,
Yeah.
He's got better wheels and stuff though. He's stunting a little
does.
harder than I
dude.
am.
I'll trade you.
Yeah.
He's
I don't like
I'll
them.
trade right.
Yeah, I don't like them. I want stock wheels.
My crusty old stock ones.
Dude, I don't
just-
care. The only reason I bought that car, so I bought the GX, literally just because I was, the 335 was my daily.
Bro, that is not Ohio winners. That is not a daily.
No, I got pulled out of a ditch 3 times last year. So
Oh, no.
I was
Like,
like, yeah, I was like this winter. The last winter it was like, okay, that whatever, what happens. But then this winter I was like, okay, I'm sick of, standing on the side of the road waiting for somebody to come rescue me and then pull the car out. And
Now you're the one doing the rescuing.
right. I've already had to I pulled 2 people out.
Bro,
this
I carry
year
a tow
with
strap
GX.
in the GX 24/7
Yep, I
for
got
that
one
reason.
of mine too.
Got to be prepared. You got your little TIG one.
Yeah, I'm not pulling anybody out.
Hell no. It could do its thing. Little 4-cylinder turbo. So then we go. So we're talking the history of the cars. We had the Cadillac. We had the Focus.
Right.
The 335.
Correct.
And then the GX. So you have that's
That's
later,
now,
but,
yeah.
But then we had this is where the big kickoff for where your drifting goes in, and it's your
The E46, baby. Yeah, so that car, I mean, that was really, obviously, like you said, that was the kickoff. At the time, I was still in college, and it was the summer. So it was the summer off of college, I guess. But I was working for my dad. I wasn't making much money at all, but I had like saved together. It was like $1,500 or something like that. I found this car in Kentucky.
Back when you could still find them.
Yeah, back when you could buy a $1,500 running E46.
Yeah, now all the clapped out E46s are like $4,000 to $5,000 minimum.
Yeah, and it was a 330 sedan, like with a 5-speed in it. I mean, you can't find that.
No, you can't touch that right now.
That's a $6,000 car.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I found it for $1,500, and well, and I'll get into it. There's a reason it was $1,500, but unbeknownst to me,
I'm sure there was.
But I called up a friend. We went and we picked the car up from Kentucky. Super nice dude. He's got a big single 335, so we kind of hit it off from there. But anyway, I picked the car up, got it back home, and he said it needed brakes, which when I took it for a drive, that was very apparent. So I did get I put brakes on it all the way around. Took it for a drive. I got 10 minutes into my drive, if that, started overheating, as BMWs do. And of course, I was familiar with the 335, so I knew that the cooling systems were a problem. So I was like, okay, let's just replace all of it. I was like, everything says to just replace all of it. It's, you're going to be chasing
plastic,
headaches.
brittle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I replaced all of it, bought a CSF radiator, just kind of with the extra mile, did everything. Then was like, okay, we're finally good to go. Took it for another drive, started overheating. So at this point I was like, damn. I eventually did go through and I did a leak down test, and it did not come back good. So I was like,
the
okay,
head gasket
yeah,
bomb?
yeah. I was like, this is a blown head gasket.
You've had that scare many a times. You've been panicked about that with your
not a
E46.
good feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't have great, my mechanical skills weren't what they are now. So that was like a huge deal for me. Like that
Even
was,
now, bro.
I mean, yeah,
That's even for me. If I hear that, if I hear a head gasket, I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah, it was not fun. So I was like, okay, everything that it says to read online, or everything I read online, it says you're better off getting a new engine than trying to replace that head gasket. So I was like, all right, fine. So I think I went to, local junkyard. They had shipped one in. It was like $1,200 or something like that. Shipped one in. I got it back to my house, and I was like, all right, before I do anything, I'm doing a leak down and a compression test on it. Did a leak down. Literally every cylinder was bad.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no. They told me it was out of a running, driving car. Obviously, it wasn't
running and driving at some point.
Yeah,
not currently when they pulled it, but at some time it ran.
Right. So they very fortunately that they actually honored like their return, and they didn't have to do this because it was at my house, not a business, but they actually came and picked the engine up.
For real?
Yeah. They came to my house with their tow truck. They picked the engine up. I followed them back. I found another one.
Was it LKQ?
Huh? No, it was Waltz in, I guess that'd be Yellow Springs, Ohio. But
that's dope, though. Being a small yard, like I figured that'd be like LKQ or like a bigger like national. That's dope. A small yard.
Yeah, yeah. And they found me another one, and they just swapped them out. I think it was lower miles anyway, so I was like sick. And that one, I ended up doing the same test on it again, but I was like kind of not sure about it, so I was like, I'm sending this thing to the machine shop. So they got me all set up. I eventually put the engine back in, and then
keep in mind this is why you're making no money trying to budget everything through right now.
Right. And then it became that car became the worst case of while you're in there syndrome I've ever seen.
That is every single E46, because every time, like, I love working on cars. Love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. I absolutely despise touching her E46. That 330i, every time I touch it, something like is completely destroyed. 20 more things fail.
Yeah.
To do, like, I put the camber arms on a car, you got to like totally unbolt the diff.
And
yeah.
And
What is the point?
I know. I ended up going through that car. I mean, I had a running list on that car, but by the time I got it, like from when I bought the car to the time I got it on track, I think I had spent almost $11,000 on this car. And it was just literally just a stock 330.
Just trying to make this thing like function.
I mean, that was no angle, no seats, no nothing, man. That was just maintenance. And I mean, that I swapped everything from lines. I did full reinforcement, obviously like you're supposed to do the subframe. That was full bushings all the way around. I even serviced the trans. I did like the detent pins to keep like the fifth gear from leaning. And then
you were just being like preventative. Like
that's
making,
all it was.
I mean, after that first scare of the motor, I'd be having like everything.
Yeah, that's what had happened. I think if the car had just worked from day one, I don't think I would have done anything.
You've been like every other kid driving an E46.
Right, it would have been clapped. But I ended up, yeah, and that was a great car.
But you ended up continuing to build that though.
Yep. That car ended up with an SLR angle kit. I never got my seats installed.
Those were you got the Prismas for that too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm,
You still had those though, didn't you? After you got rid of it.
Yep. Yeah, I had. It was an SLR car. I think that was pretty much it as far as
that's what works. Simple
welded
angle
diff.
kit.
Yeah, just some eBay camber arms.
And how long ago was that you did that?
Oh shoot, 2 years ago now.
Okay,
because
you
had the car.
You started drifting 2 years ago. Or was it this year? Was your first year?
This was my first full year.
Okay,
but I started the season before this one
because you started with the E4. You did some with the E46, right? But those test and tunes, or you do it?
I did test and tunes, but I did 2 full events with the E46. I
How'd
did
you
the
like
hollow. That was horrible, actually. I was about to say great, but no, it wasn't.
All I've ever heard about that car, I never saw that car. All I consistently heard about is how much you fucking hated that thing and how much struggles 24/7 that car was.
So it was always just a struggle to drive, and I think a lot of it came from a lot of it was driver error. I mean, just being honest, but I could never get the alignment right. The suspension was just cheap. I mean, the car was built, on a shoestring budget, so every part on it was just like the bare minimum. I did actually take off the max speeding rod coilovers that were on.
Good move.
Yeah, I didn't want those to explode. I only went half a step up and went Rev 9s. So there wasn't anything crazy, but
as long as they're not max PP rods,
right.
then we're good, bro. Like those are like I had those on my 240 when I got it, and the minute I did, I put it on Jackson. It was like, these things are gone.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. Was like, get these out of here,
dude. They look scary.
I know.
Like no disrespect, max speeding rods. Like I mean.
But yo,
bro, don't let people drive on this.
Yeah.
You see the dude who hit the ditch this year with the max speeding rods?
Yeah.
And like,
yes.
Dude, he hit the ditch hard, but that coilover.
Yeah, that was insane.
Some pop metal cast.
Yeah, that thing blew up.
Yeah. So I did end up selling that car. It actually going to a guy that's local to me, and he wants to get out there. I felt really bad, but it was just unforeseen. As soon as I sold the car, his first event, I had a plug for the idle air control valve. That blew out on him, so we thought the car was misfiring real bad. I felt so bad about that. And then the next event, the drive shaft blew up.
No way.
And I had just put a new center support bearing and everything in it. I mean, because like when I say I did everything to that car.
Just went all basically like restored a car to try
pretty
to
much, yeah, which was stupid in hindsight. But I was just thinking, hey, if I do it now, that's one less thing that can break on me later. It didn't break on me; it broke on him.
Yep.
So.
Hey, you were fine.
Yeah,
you were okay. For
I drove
events.
I drove the 2 full events and every test and tune and didn't have a single problem. I don't, I feel really bad, but it's just sort of, what happens to cars. You could never see that coming. It wasn't like I sabotaged it and was like, hey, now I'm selling this.
Yeah, we're gonna let this thing break.
Yeah,
you're like, no, bro. Like, I don't know. I can't do that. Every time I sell a car, I feel panicked if anything breaks. I sold my E92 and it had like valve like a really bad valve cover gasket leak, and the kid like threw a panic attack. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, like, it's unforeseen to you. It's not like anything you could stop.
I didn't pay attention. I just drove it.
Right.
I mean.
That's the thing too. Like you spent the money, so like there's no reason you should feel bad because.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but
I still would though.
Yeah.
I still would too, honestly.
and that's kind of. I mean, I'm glad you said that because that's kind of like how I've chalked it up. Is like, I mean, I did replace it, but I like to think it wasn't installment error, but.
I mean, it is an E46.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I
They
mean, those
just
things
break.
just break.
There's a few dudes that are like solidly lucky with those cars. Bro, I don't even want to drive yours. I feel like if I drive yours, I'm gonna be the one that just like.
Hey,
it blows
they're
up
great cars
They
when,
are.
when everything's good.
That car does not get along with me.
No.
I don't like E46s. They look cool. They're really cool looking.
They do.
I would never own one myself because I just don't want to work on one ever again. That was not my friend. And now this is when things get spicy for you. So you went from spending way too much time and money building this E46, and then lo and behold, you wound up with the current car.
Yeah. So that was sort of.
That was wild. That was, if we can be real, I know you have a statement about that car because I have never entered any of the webinars. Never before this, like had never entered any of them. Deidre was obsessed with that. Like that car,
I was obsessed with that car. Like I had so many pictures of it just like saved on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I saw it on the Drift Deals page, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm buying a ticket. I want this car.
and then
And then, yeah, I won it, which I mean, I felt bad when you said I wanted that car, but at the same time, I didn't feel bad. Like, I'm
Oh my God,
you got the most
no,
gangster
I would
car.
not feel bad
That
either.
thing is so good,
It's
dude.
your car. Like, it fits you perfectly.
So I'll tell you, like, kind of how I felt before that happened, because I'm so glad you said you had all those pictures saved, because I did the same exact thing.
That
Like,
car was who built that car?
his name's Michael. He lives in Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I think he follows me on Instagram.
yeah.
That thing is, when he built that, I like watched so much progression to that build, and it was so sick. And I was so jealous because he did the light up side splitters.
Yes.
And I got like really big in LEDs. I was making like full chasing taillights and stuff for a while. And that was like something I was like, dude, I want to do this. Like, it'd be so sick. And then he did it, and I'm like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah, they were the coolest thing ever until I broke them. But
Yeah, you did break those.
I did fix them, and then I broke those again. But yeah, I'm so glad you said that you had all the pictures saved, because I was the exact same way. Now, I had entered, on the webinars on that page before. That wasn't the first time I had entered by any means, but
You weren't Kyle, but you were definitely.
no, I
Henry.
wasn't Kyle. But I had like, I don't know. It was like one of those things that just feels like fate. Like, I know that sounds
Yeah.
really cheesy and cliche to say. Like,
It doesn't sound cheesy when it's
No.
yours now. I mean,
Yeah.
you can say whatever the heck you want. You could say that like a magical fairy said,
Yeah.
like, this is yours. And you
Yeah.
got, I mean, it's yours now. So like,
But like it appeared in a dream or something like that. Like, I was driving the car. Like,
you were way too fucked up one night. And you were-
dude, it was crazy, man. And then, yeah, I mean, I remember. So I'll tell you about like where I was when I won the car, because like I feel like everybody would remember where you were at in that.
Yeah.
like, a big moment in their
Definitely.
life.
I would want anything. I want, never mind.
No, you're good.
I actually received a hat.
Oh yeah, dude.
Bro, I was so right here. This hat right here. I got that. And you know what?
Support your
I've
local
never
drifters.
won anything in my entire life. And I got the text like, yo, and I was like, oh, I was like, this we were in see, you talk about remembering where you were. I was in Kohl's buying some dress clothes for a work party.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that text, and I remember that. So I don't even want to know how like vibrant this car memory is in your brain.
Dude, I remember it. I mean, it's the memory will never leave me. I'll tell the story until I die. But so this was back when I was still selling cars.
Dealership life, baby.
Yes.
The depressing life.
Oh man, long hours. But I mean, this was a good day. But I remember, and no offense to Heath if you're watching this, but I used to not watch the lives. Like I just never.
I
never
was really
cared.
bad about it. Dude, I didn't have the time. And I said didn't have the time. It was just like, I'm really bad at observing things.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you at the
Yeah.
same thing.
I mean, it wasn't like I was avoiding them. I just always forgot about it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I'd get the notification on my phone, and then I just put it away. Like I wasn't super into it. And of course,
Well, you
this-
don't think you're gonna win,
Right.
Like you don't want to. Like that's where we ran into with your car. Is that we were sitting there like,
Yeah, I made it so
and
much
like you're
worse.
so invested, and it's like, and it was honestly the worst part about that is like before we even say yours, we were so invested. We're like, we got this, and then they're like, Cody cheat, and I'm like, bro, I'm gonna hit this dude right now. Like, are you kidding me? Right? I'm like, at least it's local. But
Yeah.
like, I'm about to jump my boy for his car.
So I remember like that day I was just like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get into it, and of course seemed like the longest one ever. Seemed like it was like 45 minutes of talking. No offense, Heath. You can
Longer
talk,
than the
though.
Christmas one.
It was about there. And I'm sitting at my, at the desk, supposed to be selling cars. I'm not. I got my phone propped up against my computer, just looking out for my boss or whatever. And I'm watching it, and he's talking, and then my boss walks out, and we were really good friends. I mean, we're still really good friends to this day. So that's not something he would have like yelled at me for. But he was like, "Hey, do you mind talking to me outside for a second?" And we just had a conversation outside. It wasn't anything bad, but I remember looking at my phone, looking at him, looking at my phone, like, damn, all right. So I put my phone away and walked outside, had the talk, and walked back in. I walked into his office, and this is the most cliche and like corny sounding part, but I remember pulling my phone back out right as they were doing the countdown from like 5 down to 0.
Yep.
And I looked right at my boss and I said, "Hey, you want to see me win a car?" And when they pulled my name, I literally jumped up and down in the middle of that office. And these are glass walls, so every customer in the showroom can see me.
They're like, bro, what?
Yeah, what's going on with this kid? And I'm jumping up and down trying to keep my language, appropriate. And I'm screaming. And my boss is like, "What just happened?" And I'm like, "I just want a car."
And he's over here like, bro, you're fired.
Yeah. I mean, I ran outside and they called me on the live. You can find the live video, but I couldn't breathe, dude. My heart was racing so bad. It was just insane.
That's so sick though, because that was well deserved. Because I remember like Kyle and everybody talking about like you trying to drive a D46, hearing about your problems with D46, and then all of a sudden that car came into your hands, and bro, that thing was like
It's the perfect car.
It was a light switch.
Oh,
like
yeah.
your first laps out in that car, I was like, oh, all right, my boy knows what he's doing. Like, where did this come from?
Well,
Oh.
it was like it's the difference between driving a car that's fighting you versus driving a car that's helping you. I mean, the E46 definitely was fighting me. You know, I had to not only try to progress my skill as a driver, but I also had to keep my own car under control while doing it. So having a car that just works so well, thank you, Mike.
It was tried and true. He set it up. It was good. You mean you got handed like a golden chariot?
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I didn't even get the car aligned for the first like 4 events. I just trusted the alignment that was on it because it already drove well.
How was that alignment?
It was great until I shattered the bumper. But I had to get used to driving a low car. I'm still trying to get used to
Was that
it.
your first like lowered?
That was my first like really low car. I mean,
Really?
the E46 was lowered, but I wasn't.
That thing was dumb. The IS was dumb.
The IS is dumped, especially having that the kit on it. And
Is that a BN? What?
It's not a real BN kit. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, honestly, but
I mean, it's probably a good thing it's not a real BN kit because I've seen that bumper. I've seen that bumper do its thing a few times.
yeah. So I've replaced it twice now, and it's already cracked. The vinyl's just holding it together at this point. But Irving, if you're watching, hook a boy up.
Yeah. Deidre's got a KBD kit sitting right in the box right there.
I do.
yeah.
Literally
But,
right
yeah,
over there.
Speaking of, hook your boy up because my car is looking real depressed right now. It's sitting in Kyle's shop with every bumper broken.
If KBD wants to be a sponsor of this podcast, please hit up
that
Mike
line.
at it'll be on the screen.
We're not joking though.
No, seriously.
But going from there, so you got into driving the E46, started going with the IS from there, and then how well do you feel your progression as a driver like escalated once you got into that seat of that IS?
Oh, it was night and day, man. I mean, that, like I said, having a car that helps you obviously made it really easy, but it was a lot easier to judge my own driving. So, because the car was super consistent. So it was like any errors that were made were strictly driver error at that point. I didn't have to fight the car with it, like not having enough self steer or, just the alignment being off or anything like that. Like any errors going off track or spinning out, that was all on me. So being able to look back and think about what I was doing, it was a lot easier to correct those things and move forward. I still got a long way to go, but
Dude, I mean, you killed it last year. I was
appreciate
hyped.
Appreciate that. The end of the year was a lot of fun.
Team Outcast, baby. What's up?
Yay.
Hey. But to me, like even speaking of Team Outcast, like that is a huge piece, even for myself and what we did on that. And I think yours ran the same way. And it's finding like a dope group of dudes who all push because let's be real here, where Roy and Kyle and Brett are. Let's just say that me and you are the two dudes kind of like holding it back. I mean, we're doing our thing, but like, bro, my boys shred.
Those dudes are they're on another plane.
Bro,
Like,
and when we have those dudes, like when you have them applying pressure, oh, that's real.
And that's I think when you get a group like that, I think I love, kind of go off track here for a second, but just about Outcast in general, like my favorite part about it is it's not a clique that you have to like, apply to get into or anything like that. Like it's literally just some dudes that are all homies that got together and said, hey, you want to drive together? We'll put a name to it, but that's about it. I mean, you don't have to, you don't have to match with anything. You don't have to color anything. And it's all different skills and different cars. And it's
We're just pushing and having fun.
Exactly. It's just kind of like it's the friendship and the bonding aspect of it and not the clout aspect of it.
I message
love.
more in that group chat than I've ever like texted before.
Same.
Bro, that is lit. That is live.
That group chat's
and if you
insane.
don't know, Outcast is formed of me, it is Roy, Brett, Kyle, and Cody. Us 5. And then
A dream team.
you're gonna have the girls team running up here
Yep.
soon though.
Oh yeah, we will.
Because we gotta find Cody a lady that drifts. Then we'll have everybody with the girls running up there onto the track. But no, it's sick. And actually, the funniest thing for people to understand with how Outcast. So Outcast originally was started as Outcast. So they made a team event for Drift Indy, and we had a solid group of homies that all drove, but we didn't have like anything formed. So it started out, and it was me and Roy and Kyle, and we're like, all right, like we don't have a team, like we don't have anything, like let's make like a team and stuff like that. So we had us 3, as originally how it was supposed to be. Well, we go to a street league event. My trans explodes in my car after my knuckle breaks. And then after that happens, well, before that happened, Kyle's oil filter decided to
Yeah, that was a bad day.
eject. So throughout this whole process, we get up to the team event. So it goes to teams, and we're like, bro, Roy is the only one with a car. Like, we have one dude. Like, that's not a team. So Brett hooks it up, gives me the G. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to run the G in the like teams. We're scrambling. We're like, we need to get Kyle a car. Cody's like, Kyle, like, get in. Like, run it.
I couldn't throw my keys fast enough, dude. That dude can drive my car any day.
Bro, and that got frisky straight up.
Yeah, I know it did.
That was
I was watching it. I was like...
Kyle did the nice thing in your car. Because Kyle drove hard, but he kept distance.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. He also drove in the back.
Yeah,
So,
I had a panic attack. Because I was like, Roy and Kyle know what they're doing. They know how to shred. Bro, we run that. Because were you in the car with Kyle?
I wasn't. I was watching him.
Okay, you were watching. Yeah, 'cause nobody was in because I was driving Brett's car, and he's not even in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roy and Kyle. So us three driving. Bro, Roy looks at Brett, and he goes, I'm going to be tame. I'm going to keep some distance. Bro, I have never puckered so hard. I'm like driving. So like the first lap was gangster. Like we did good. But even then, like I have Roy like touching. Kyle's like trying to come in because he's like, I mean, he was too gripped up.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to drop the pressure. He's like, I need to be faster.
Yeah.
Too gripped up, couldn't keep it. That second lap, bro, I think that's what made the team thing happen too was I'm coming in. I felt understeer going in. So I'm like pushing. And all of a sudden, I just hear Roy's just turbo. Bro, I kicked straight so fast. And somehow, like that correction, it's Kyle almost blows Roy out. Roy almost blows me out. They just kept it going. I went straight. And literally after that day, we were like, so this is a Team Outcast?
Yes, yes. Can we take a slight break for just 1 second? And I want to say how intimidating Roy's car sounds when it's following you.
Door.
Dude, it is the craziest thing. And of course, I'm still getting, my tandem experience. I remember Roy was like, hey, can I follow you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was not prepared for
A, how gangster he is at driving, and B,
right.
What the
just
fuck
how,
is what those noises?
Oh my God, it was just so, dude, it was just so violent and gnarly. Just this turbo right off the limiter, just wah, bah, 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 just right next to your door. And all I'm thinking in my head is, don't spin out, don't spin out, don't spin out. And it was crazy.
Did he do to you exactly what he did to me? Because the first laps I ever drove with Roy, like I'd never driven a lap with Roy. First laps, bro, this dude was so stuck on me that I was like panicking. And I was like, bro, this is our first lap together. Like, and you just sat there.
Dude, he doesn't know how to like not send it. Like
Him
that's
and
all
Kyle.
he
He
knows
has
how to do.
no fear, like at all.
Bro,
He's
you
a freak.
rode with him the last because speaking of Team Outcast, the last event you rode with Brett
I
when he
did.
got hit.
Yes, I did.
And then you hopped out of his car and you went straight into Roy's car.
yes.
And then did Roy get?
No, he had a McChicken receipt that like flew up in the middle of drifting and
that
like
video?
No.
it was so chaotic. Oh my gosh. I like caught it midair like while I was filming. But like it threw him off completely because it was like going all up in the dash.
It's like a slow-mo receipt
Just flopping
Yeah.
everywhere.
in this clip.
But then I think somebody else like in front of him like broke their bumper or something happened. So I was like twice in a row. I was like, okay, I'm like obviously bad luck for you guys. So I'm just, I'm done. I'm not riding with
She was in the
anybody
car
else.
when Brett, when last event when Brett's door just.
Really?
Deidre was in the passenger seat when that got
Oh
hit.
no.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that was his rear door.
Yeah, I know. I didn't feel anything at all. So
Yeah, good.
I think, yeah,
And
I got lucky.
The J-Dub's car is that's a
Yeah.
solid piece of steel,
Yeah.
bro. That
I
thing,
mean, that
Yeah.
old car like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
that thing's a unit. But that's dope. I mean, that's the Team Outcast stuff has been so fun. Just having like a dope group of dudes like this. I mean, again, all skill levels because reality is Brett, Kyle, and Roy. I mean, they shred.
Mm-hmm.
We're still definitely learning. This was like my first year, and I think yours too, of like really diving into a tandem.
Right.
Having those dudes push.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, I've loved it.
Yeah. And Kyle, bro, I've never had anybody push me the way that dude pushed me on the track.
Kid he's so nonchalant about it too.
Bro, he's so relaxed.
I can't wait till you get him on here and he can tell his side of things because it's like every time you talk to Kyle, it's like, Kyle, you could drive. He's like, no, thanks.
No, he is the most nonchalant guy in the world. Like, there's a reason why any event where Kyle's car breaks, or even if he didn't have a car, it's like, Kyle, drive my car.
Yeah. I trust Kyle with my car over almost anybody.
He probably did more like as many laps as you did in your car and as I did in my car in our cars.
In our cars, yeah.
Because he drove yours on Thursdays and during events, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that also stems from him breaking his own car. So
Yeah.
sorry, Kyle.
Yeah.
But
it's on the same way because I drove Deidre's car probably almost. And then I drove Brett's car. And then, I borrowed I break a lot of cars.
Yeah.
You're lucky though. But this new car's been good.
I know.
Knock
It's
on
been-
wood.
Yeah,
it's
knock
been
on
great,
something.
yeah.
You just jinxed
I'm
them.
not
No,
gonna
thanks.
get into that.
No.
So, I mean, going next from you, I mean, so a dope thing is you received the IS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're actually working with the guys.
Yeah, so that happened shortly after I got the IS. Well, like I said, I was selling cars, and if you've ever sold cars before, you know it's either for you or it's not. And I'd put just over a year in, and I had just decided that, hey, this is not for me. And I kind of saw an opportunity to help out with the guys over with the GS Drift and everything like that. And so I sent them a proposal, I think in June. And then I think they had gotten back to me by August and said, hey, we'd love to have you on. We'd love for you to help out. So I kind of not took over, but I kind of help with I built their website, kind of do their merchandising and stuff like that. And now they're homies. We went to PRI together.
Which is dope. Like building a bond, like receiving that car and then becoming homies with those dudes and being able to get your foot in the door with the industry that you're hooked on. Like
that was the coolest thing. And that's what I was chasing, is that dream of hey, this is like you said, a foot in the door to an industry that, is that my hobby is part of, or my hobby's industry. There's the words. It's it's a dream job pretty much. You know what I mean?
and you guys have done a lot this year.
Dude, we just did car number 80.
That's crazy.
And
That is a lot of cars.
To put that into perspective, I got my car and it was car number 52. And I got my car in March of last year. So coming up on a year. I haven't even had the car a full year. But since
It's not even been a year yet?
hadn't even been a year.
That's wild. I feel like you've had that car for 3 years.
Well, the car's changed a lot since I've
That's
gotten
true.
it. But,
That is true.
well, no, it hasn't. It just went from white to green.
But
But
I was about to say, does that car feel like your car now?
it's still, every now and again, I'm like, oh, my car. And then I'm like, oh, it still feels weird. You know what I mean? It's so I say this, I mean, obviously I'm very thankful for the car, right? But it's there's something about it. I felt like I was cheating the system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It felt like if you ever played Grand Theft Auto, if you were doing a money glitch or something like that, or a car glitch or something like that, it's
You already got the best of the best right out the gate, so you
Right.
don't have to work for it.
Right.
right. And it's I didn't do anything for it. So it's part of me kind of is I don't feel bad by any means, but it's I don't flaunt.
At least you're using that car how it should be used. At least you didn't win that car and just park it in a barn.
Oh,
Or
never.
drive it to a Cars and Coffee once a week.
Man, it was a $150 car. I'm gonna drive the shit out of
Treat
that
it like
thing.
a $150 car too.
Yeah, but car number 80, they just did. And it finally didn't come back to Ohio.
Was that the JZX?
Yep.
Bro, I wanted that car.
It was the Mark II.
I wanted that so
yeah.
bad.
That went to Alabama, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It stayed in Alabama.
Yeah.
Was that
Chris
2
Nave got that.
JZXs in a row?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you guys, the Christmas time.
Let me think.
Because that was the red one.
They had, I know they had one in between the red one. I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But I thought they did.
I'm trying to remember if it's.
They might not have.
It's 80, so it's
Yeah.
hard to keep
Yeah,
track of
Right.
how many you're aware of gone.
Right,
It is
right.
80 cars.
Right. I mean, and even, I don't know how they keep track of it. When I talk to Heath or something like that, or Heath will bring some up, he's like, oh, yeah, that was car such and such that went to, so-and-so. And it was the fourth car.
No,
or
he
whatever.
legit knows because even in the chats, he'll be like, "Oh, that's blah blah blah. He had car number." I'm like, "Bro, how?"
Dude, I can't even keep track of them. And like I said, my car was 52. So less than 30 cars, and I have no idea.
You're like, "I'm so lost."
I know
well,
where
Kyle has 8 of them.
Yeah, Kyle does have 8 of them, so that's easy. If you had to gamble and your life depended on it, just say Kyle, and you might be right.
Bro, it works for everybody but me. I have my cars at a shop. I hang out with Kyle all the time, bro, and I haven't got none of that luck. Everybody else is like, "Bro, I hung out with Kyle for a day and I want a car." I'm like,
Problem is,
Bro.
you're not family with him. I only started winning once he got married
"Yeah."
to my cousin.
Well, I mean, that's the family luck, bro. Because I don't know where mine went, but I got a hat.
Yep. I designed that. You're welcome.
No, but I mean, it's even the stuff that they've done with that has been actually really, really cool to see because not just cars and stuff, which at first it was just cars. And I was like, this is cool. But it's even cool to see the fact of legitimate helmets, coils, seats. I mean, people being able to have the opportunity to have quality parts
Yeah.
that there's no other way they would have touched.
And that's So I guess we're gonna go back. People are gonna think it's rigged for me if they don't know who I am. But like the E46, I guess I won before I won the car. But that's how I won that. Got a lot of the parts for that car because I won stuff like that. I won the parts stuff.
But if you pay to play, you'll win.
Right.
That's where we're messing up. We need to do that.
I know.
Because
Right.
the Z needs some better angle. We got to win some bits on that.
Exactly.
So like,
Dude,
Yeah.
I got, let's see, for all the parts that they have provided me through that page, let's see. So it was the SLR kit for the E46. Obviously, these are all brand new in box. Full SLR Ultra kit, 2 Prismas.
you got both of those from that?
Mm-hmm. I did have to pay, so,
Are you still running the mix match cushions?
yeah.
You wild for
Yeah,
that.
they're pink and
Have you ever
black.
seen that?
No.
He has like the cushions from the one seat, like in his seat. Because are you only running one of them right now?
No, I'm running both. I just
you?
couldn't decide if I wanted pink or if I wanted black. Well, so the seats I got were supposed to be red. They're not red. I mean, they're the hottest pink.
But they look gangster though. I'm jealous.
They
Yeah.
do.
I'm jealous.
But I was like, I don't know if I want to, do all pink. So I took the black cushions out and put the black cushions in. So now I just have 2 black Prismas sitting with pink cushions in the garage.
I need to snag one of those.
Yeah, I know. But I got sliders for both of them. I got 2 harnesses. What else did I get? Well, no, I can't remember. But
So
I
if
mean,
you-
that alone, that's a lot.
I mean, it was a couple $1,000s worth of
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, that's like a built car,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is, you got to pay to play, but at the
Right.
same time, like, no
Yeah.
risk, no reward.
Right. And that's like, people say they want to win the lottery. It's like, well, you got to buy a damn ticket.
Yeah, you can't buy one ticket like every 3 years and be like, I didn't win the lottery. These people, it's like,
right.
bro, how those
right.
people who win that lottery have like spent their life savings on winning that lottery?
I know. I'm not that bad. I only played every now and then. Well, no, I guess that's a lie. When I was selling cars and making good money, I played about every single one of them. But
Well, I feel like, so when you won or when you received
Yeah.
the car, did you go instantly and do like a bunch of them, or did you step back?
I stepped back. I haven't played in one since I got the IS. I haven't entered a webinar since I got the IS. Now a lot of that is like, there was a couple months where I could have, I just didn't. But
Yeah, well now you're
now it's kind of like conflict of interest. If I won, and I work for them, even though I literally don't see them, I have nothing to do with, the webinars. That's all completely separate of what I do. It's still kind of like,
the only time I've seen you on the webinar was when the Christmas debacle came in. They were
Yeah.
like, we need another hand in here. Like,
Right.
get him in here now.
Kyle threw me under the bus for that one. Did you see that?
Oh, bro.
Oh my gosh. I was watching that and I was like so upset. If we can find that clip, you have to put that up there. But yeah, so it was like the 12 days, that was the 12 days of giveaway. So they were just giving away stuff for 12 days, right? For Christmas. And Kyle, just like Kyle does, he wins.
Always. He won.
And-
Wait, did he win once or twice on that?
I think he won.
He won once, and then Hannah.
was
And then
twice.
Hannah won.
did.
That's
Hannah
right.
got they
Yeah.
got the hydro.
Yeah. But he had won. And of course, I mean, I hate to say this, but I didn't tell you guys what was in it, but I told you some of like the cool stuff, at least that I knew. They didn't tell me everything either, but I was like,
No,
you know,
actually, the one that he guessed, I remember this in the group chat, is that you didn't say anything, but you were like giving we did like a little question game and like a hint
Yeah.
thing, and then I remember Kyle dropped that, and you were like,
Yeah, and I was like, no. Yeah, because it was the livery. Like I was trying to, there was a livery that they gave away from Over Modify. And
do you remember this?
I do remember this now.
'Cause
Yes,
I remember I
do.
pointed out, he said it, and I was like,
Yes.
yeah, because I had said in the group chat, I wasn't trying to say anything.
just so people are aware of this, there is no, and even if there was, it's not like you'd tell us a number of what, because you don't even know this
I
stuff.
didn't know.
But
I
it was
mean,
like, we're all going to chat, and it's going to be like, oh, they did some neat things like this. So no insider information
Yeah, no.
at all
Yeah, sorry.
on anything.
I don't know anything.
whatsoever, because you just do some back end stuff. You're not actually,
No. But yeah, it was like the livery, and I had like hinted at it, and then yeah, they were like, Heath was like, Kyle, what do you think it is? And he said the livery, and there's no way he would have known that.
I just remember him going, oh, what? Have you been talking to
He tried
Cody?
to
And I'm
cover
like,
it up.
and Kyle's like, oh, no. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
Kyle.
That was hilarious. I mean, we all had a good laugh about that, and Heath had a good laugh. But I was like, man,
I was crying.
it's the last
bro.
time I help your ass out.
And it was like in a package too. Like, so nobody would have guessed that.
No,
unless-
it's like, yeah, they were all wrapped up. I mean, it wasn't like you could just like kind of peek in there or something.
Yeah.
Like there was just 12 things there that nobody knew what they were.
Well, and all the things they gave away, like, none of them were things you were just going to guess. So for
No.
them to be like, a livery, they were like,
what?
Bro, what?
And they knew the only other person they told was me, and they know I'm friends with Kyle, and that's just, I got yelled at for that.
They're not telling you anything anymore.
Yeah, he's blacklisted now.
Yeah.
I know.
He's like, you stick to the back end. Don't be on the
Yeah,
front
it's
anymore.
like, don't ask questions.
No.
But you guys, so there's plans, I'm sure, for quite a few more
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
webinars. And if you guys aren't aware of what we're talking about, GS Drift Deals, it is dope, cool opportunity. You have the opportunity to be able to spend a little and have some awesome opportunities. I mean, I've had friends get full angle kits, coils, multiple friends
with cars.
get cars. I mean, I'm
full, ready.
Kyle, Rob Cantor, a good friend of mine. He got the Skyline, the SR21. You got one. Who else?
There was, so I can now. This is not any any way helpful, but there's a guy local that just won a car. He's got a Z. He drives Killcare. What is? I can't remember the car, and I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking
Was it
about.
the orange? It was like an orange.
It's an orange Z or a red Z or something.
Remember we talked about this.
Yeah,
but I'm horrible with names.
I'm
not like
sorry
an
if you're
Ian
watching
or
this. I'm
something.
so sorry that I can't remember your name.
But thank you for driving Killcare.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for playing too.
Thank you for playing.
But he just won the car. I mean, that's like the running joke in the page is that they all come back to Ohio. Like,
yeah, I mean, but the reality is like, and I'm going to say this straight facts for everything is that me and Kyle, very, very, very close friends, hang out with Kyle all the time. If anybody's ever going to say, and if I see that comment one more time in a freaking page about, oh, Kyle's going to, bro, my boy has spent. So look how many spots this dude buys every webinar. So don't be salty about it if you buy one spot every 3.
Yeah, he buys like 3 or 4 spots every single time. I mean, the dude likes to play. I mean, what can you say? If he wins, it's because he's playing. I mean,
it pays off. He has gotten. I mean, you're hyped on the IS. Kyle's nonchalant about a S13. He got another S13, an S15, an A86. What else did he get?
I hate to say it, but I think that's it. But what are you up to now? 4?
4.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, I got a hat.
I mean, I know he's won a bunch of smaller stuff. Like the smaller stuff you can't even count. Like I know he's won parts.
But even those, I watch him buy like 8 to 10 spots. And the reality is, it's not just like him. Like Kyle will go in and like him and Hannah will like have a few each.
Right.
So like you'll see like their names like 4 apiece. So it's legit. Spend the money, you could do it, or you might not get anything. I don't win anything.
I mean, you might not, but you know that's sort of the name of the game. But you know, we try to spread it out, and it's all done randomly. I mean, it truthfully is done randomly. So
It's literally done on a live with a random generator that everybody can go on and replicate and see that it's random.
Yep. And that's why we live stream it is, you know, so there's no, you know, hey, whatever I mean, and I think that's part of the, you know, novelty to it is because it is shown publicly. I mean, how many of these other pages that you see, I'm not going to name names, but like companies that are doing this, you know, similar stuff where people can win cars, you know, who wins those cars?
They just post like screenshots, I feel like.
Right. It's like sometimes you'll see the guy standing there with the car or whatever like that. Or sometimes you don't even hear about it at all. I
But
mean,
there's so many of those, and I've never personally met or seen really like
anybody.
anything.
Right.
But with that, dude, I personally have a bunch of homies. I mean, I live in Ohio. Half the
Yeah. So that's easy, but I mean it's cool because you know they'll live stream it and you know they'll call the person on the live stream and get their genuine reaction from it at the time and show it off. And I think that's you know again one of the craziest novelties is that you know just being able to you know put faces to these things is really cool.
It just humanizes it,
Right.
and it's cool. I mean, it's awesome to see because even if I spend the money and I don't get anything, it's cool to see somebody like they deserve it.
Yeah, somebody's super pumped up and super stoked and
Like your situation, like you literally would have sat there and hated your life. Probably would have stopped drifting trying to drive that E46.
oh
You
probably I probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
honestly.
then that came, and it's like, I mean, straight up, I feel like that put you in like a better place, like mentally, emotionally, like driving, everything, having that.
I'd be lying if I said that car didn't change my life.
Yeah.
Like I mean that in
Look at the friend groups you have, the people
Right.
you hang out with, what you're doing.
I mean, that car literally changed the course of my life. I you know, for the better. It absolutely did.
Which is cool. I mean, that's the dopest thing when I think about like what you guys do with that stuff is it does. I mean, could you imagine some of these people don't even have a drift car and like, oh, here's one.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah. There's plenty of people that have gotten cars that have never drifted a day in their life and they get this car that's just ready to rip. You know what I mean?
We need to be up next.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
we need
sorry,
to-
Deidre. I feel
know.
like so I don't think I stole your spotlight. I think I
No.
just borrowed it. I
Hey.
think it's coming back to you.
Yes.
Real soon.
And I get to see the car at least. So
Yeah,
like
right,
that's
right,
good
right,
enough
right,
for me.
right, right.
That's
And
good
he's
enough.
already been informed if he sells it then.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
See,
Yeah.
now what I need for you guys is I need a JZX90. I
Okay.
need a like touring V. I need manual trans JZX90 up on that page. Let's run it up.
We just
like,
did one.
but like a stocker body one.
Oh, okay.
Like that one was
Okay.
sick. Don't get me wrong. Like that was cool, but I want like a good street cruiser car. That one was wild.
Did you see the most recent one?
The
one?
white one.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah.
It was sick. I like the Mark IIs, but like
Yeah, I get you. I get you. The Mark IIs aren't my favorite either, but
they're a little different. They
Yeah.
still good.
they're
still
they're
cushy.
sick. But yeah, I agree with you.
So I mean, now going forward from that, I mean, what's the plans? I mean, drift wise this season, are you driving a bunch? GS, what's all you got going on for the future now?
Yeah, dude, absolutely going to be driving every event I can possibly do. I mean, that's why I bought the GX was so I could travel.
GX boys, baby,
Yes,
we're about to
sir.
be
Yes,
towing
sir.
Team Outcast. We need to rest. I mean, we can't say rest of them. Brett Cassidy just bought the dopest truck.
I know he
I
did.
hate
I
him so
know.
much.
Brett's truck is so much.
We're over
cooler.
here like, bro, look at our tow rigs,
Yeah.
GXs. And he's like, y'all want to see something? We're like,
Yeah.
all right, Brett, don't talk to us
Yeah.
anymore, please.
But yeah, I plan on driving every event I can, every drift indie event. Like I said, I want to travel if I can. You know, that'd be super dope. And you know, if I could travel with the GS dudes, that'd be sick. Because you know, obviously they're from Alabama, so they get a whole different side of things that you know I would never think to see.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how I feel too. Is like Drift Indy. I'm not gonna miss Drift Indy. That's my home.
Right.
I love. I mean, that track, that community. I've never heard of a community as tight as what we have.
Oh,
Drift
Drift
Indy.
Indie is
Dude, it's amazing.
it almost kind of spoils you.
Yeah, it does.
Like for me, starting out in Drift Indy and talking to anybody else that drives another event, and I tell them about Drift Indy, they're like, "Dude, that sounds so cool." And I'm like, "Wait, your event's not like that?"
Yeah, the organization, the promotion of drivers, like how much they push everybody,
Right.
like hype everybody. Everybody's car looks good. You see some of those other events, and you're like, oh. But on that end, I'm really excited to check out some new tracks because again, I love it. It's a hard track to drive. It's fun, but I really want to try just some like totally different stuff.
Right. Right. You know, I've learned on that track, and I'm afraid that like my skill set is turning into.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
track.
I don't want my skill to me to go to another track and be like,
I don't know how
I
to
don't know
drive.
what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then be there and like shred the whole time.
Yeah. It's like if I can do, you know, a right turn, a left turn, a right turn, and a bank. If that's every track, I'm good. But you know, I want to be able to drive more than just that.
See, but that's even the thing. Like we talked about this a bunch too, and that track, and I'm sure you will say the exact same thing, dude. That is not an easy setup to learn.
Not at all.
The elevate, like the running the bank, the dirt drops, how tight like the infield is and everything. It is.
It's literally bad news anywhere but the pavement. Like you cannot dirt drop. You can't. Obviously, you got walls on the bank. You got a killer drainage ditch, which you know,
Literally killer.
Literally killer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, we had a few of those this year.
yeah, sheesh.
But even like dirt, I mean, you dirt drop there. You tried. I'm bad at that. I'm better now about that.
last year it was just every single transition you were just shooting dirt. It was the coolest looking shit
I was throwing
ever.
some gangster stuff, but like
Dude, it
we
was
talked
so
about,
cool.
we talked about that like in the last one, and I was like, there's a difference between knowing how to drift and knowing how to drive. And last year I knew how to drift, but it was like I had not a full comprehension of where the butt was. So I'm like, oh, this is gangster. We going full angle. And it's like, I'm like, stay in it.
No, it was so much better this year, but it was gangster watching you do that last year. I was jealous because I had the E46 still and I couldn't even make it around the track without spinning out. So,
It's fun.
but
But we're gonna meet. So next year, what our goal this year is you're tandeming with us, right?
I'm gonna try really hard.
you linked the track last year, didn't you?
Multiple
yeah,
times.
Yeah, I did. It's weird. Like sometimes I would do really good, and then like it just depended on the time of day, honestly.
A lot of it was
How the stars
set
roll
up
on.
though, too.
Exactly.
A lot of your car
yeah.
battle was set up because
Definitely.
Yeah, you had a bunch of issues with your car, didn't you? Just like a
A
bunch of small
lot.
issues like that were just like
it was stupid, redundant things like your angle kit kept coming loose.
Yes.
Like I don't know
it
what
was
to
very
do with that.
inconsistent. I was like constantly like adapting myself to drive the car based on like how it was set up that day.
well, that's how the
So,
E46 was. So
Yeah.
I'm not glad that you understand that, but you know, I appreciate that somebody else knows what I went through.
Yeah.
It's not easy to drive a car that's like that set up because again, like I go from driving my car and I'd be like, oh, I can try, and I get Deidre, I'm like, oh, I can't drive this damn car. But it was like even like she had stock arms in the beginning this year, and she had like rear toe like this, and I was like, dude, this thing is a grip. Like, what's going on? And finally, we like brought it to Brett, put the arms on, And he's like, dude, this alignment is like really bad. Like really bad. Like front and rear was pretty.
Yeah, they spent quite a few hours like adjusting
Dialing
it.
it. I think Kyle even spun out in your car, and that's
Yeah.
something.
He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Yes.
I mean,
he did.
Kyle, yeah.
Spun out into the.
I've never seen him spin out before, minus in my car.
Kyle
Yeah.
could drift a Barbie Jeep. I mean,
He
I
could.
swear,
Oh.
he could link the track in one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one dude that could touch any of my cars. But you know what's nobody can give him crap about crashing my car though when he did
No,
the knuckle break.
no, that's not his fault.
Have you ever heard of a rear knuckle just snapping in half?
No, that was insane to me that happened.
I was just watching from the sideline. I was like, oh, maybe that's what that hobble in the back was. Remember, I had that wheel hop all year.
You did. I remember
Yeah,
that.
we were like, I think that wheel hop might have been a broken knuckle. Like, I think that's why it was like.
yeah.
But it was good, man. I'm hyped for this year. 2023 is gonna be sick.
It's gonna be rad.
A lot of driving, a lot of hanging with the homies.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, get you on here more.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we can
I'd
get
love
this
to.
set up. We can have the whole team.
That'd be insane. That would be.
That would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna take us trying to find a way to get Roy and Brett.
Mm-hmm. They're a little quieter than the rest, but
We can get them out of their show.
oh yeah,
Get them a few little drinks.
oh yeah.
I mean, a drink or two and Roy. My boy's gonna be talking of a storm, brother. He'll be Gucci. Brett's the one we're gonna have to push. So
Yeah.
Brett, we're coming for you.
Yep, yep.
But dude, I mean, this has been sick. Seriously, thank you
Yeah,
for
dude, thanks for having me on, man.
coming on. This will not be the last time. We're gonna definitely get some updates. Officially, the first guest we've had. So
Glad to be here, dude. It
Yeah.
feels it's different. It's my first podcast, so it's
This is my second.
a first for everybody. But
no, I mean this was like a sudden enough. Like I texted Cody yesterday, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, "All right, bro." I went to the store. I had to order like a microphone for pickup at Best Buy. I had to go to Guitar Center on lunch. I'm like picking up everything, and Cody shows up today, and I was like, "We need to figure out how to lay all this out." And I'm like hooking up mics. Cody's helped me, so MVP over here for that. But seriously, thank you.
Thanks,
This has
brother.
been great. Thank you for helping co-host as always.
Thank you,
Of
Deidre.
course.
And we'll have
Yeah.
you on soon.
Can't
So
wait to see what happens, man.
another episode of LF Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the other stuff, whatever it is. And another episode coming soon. But again, thank you for Cody.
Thanks, homie.